Colorado in the news, just like they always are. And Drew, this time, Warren Sapp, he's going to be joining the staff at Colorado as a graduate assistant. This is pretty interesting. He'll be joining as a graduate assistant, but referred to internally, I believe, as a senior quality control analyst. I want to go back and make sure that I have that title right.
You got to explain this to me. So break it down. What does that mean?
I called you before the show and I said, hey, there's some really interesting things going on with this. All right, so not only is Colorado getting a Hall of Famer in Warren Sapp, but what they've done here, you got to give them a little golf clap. It's pretty, I would say, what would you call it? Crafty, right? That would be the right word. Yeah. But they're hiring Warren Sapp to essentially a graduate assistant role. And what that means is that Warren Sapp can be hands-on when it comes to coaching. What I mean by hands-on is that he can literally be a coach on the field. And yes, there's different variants of that. And I'm not saying he's going to be the defensive line coach, but in terms of the verbal communication and hands-on communication that he can have with the players at Colorado, he's permitted to do that. If he was a senior quality control analyst, under the current rules of the NCAA, he would not be able to do that. Now, what's interesting about this is that the oversight committee for the NCAA is currently in review of legislation that could be passed, I believe, by summer, that would allow support staff to, it doesn't matter if you're a quality control analyst or not, it would allow them to coach, essentially. As of right now, those guys' duty is pretty much restricted to advanced scouting and game planning. They are not allowed to coach on the field. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Sometimes they get away with it. Just depends on your compliance office. But Colorado right now seems to have found a way to bypass that. Now, most people aren't willing to do that. But Warren Sapp is in a unique position where I'm assuming that he's in a financially secure enough situation. And then the fact that with very little coaching experience, yeah, he's going to be a guy that will be leaned on a lot, but his ability to now be an on-field coach as a graduate assistant, that's a huge benefit for Colorado. And it's very smart strategically by Deion Sanders to be able to think ahead and say, hey, I need this guy on the field. I need him communicating. That's where his value is. This allows Warren Sapp to do that.
Do they get a recruiting bump from Warren Sapp? Gold jacket, does that help?
Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt. I mean, you think about Jason Taylor in Miami, right? It doesn't hurt. I mean, I think anytime those guys can go into a room and understand that they're going to have the unique experience of being coached by one of the best to ever do it, it does not hurt. And it doesn't hurt for Deion Sanders to be able to sell it at a position that's going to be critical for them if they want to compete at the highest level of college football. They're going to have to get the line of scrimmage right. So I think it's a heck of a move by Deion Sanders and company.
And correct me if I'm wrong here, with him being a GA, I'm sure they could apply for a waiver and Warren can go out on the road. You know, we know Prime's not doing the in-home visits. Maybe Warren Sapp wants to do them.
Hey, any way you can add value. The other thing is like if this new legislation gets passed, 11 countable coaches, that can be anybody, right? So Warren Sapp, yeah, he could get the nod. Could go a long way. So we'll see.